Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Now, we are looking mighty bearish today on the chart. It does look like the pump since August is kind of creating this May-like structure, although it's not completely the same because you can see that we've had two sections to this latest pump. We can see like one section here from August until about October, because we reached a high of 52 before going back to a low of 41, and then from about October to November we went to the all-time high, and then we started descending. Now honestly looks a lot like this. Like the first section of the 2021 map kind of started in December of 2020, and then we went up to late January in the first hump, and then we had a little bit of a breather here. Then we went to what was then the all-time of 63,000 by April, and then we started coming down. Now we are here, so I think we are probably around this area. So we could go back up, according to this graph, we could go back up to perhaps 50, 52,000, 53,000 again before dumping down all the way maybe to about 37,000. I think that's the bottom number. I'm still looking for that landing of about 42,000, which would be significantly which would be actually around right here. If we actually follow this graph, we could actually follow it all the way down to perhaps 40,000, perhaps 37,000. Around 35, 37,000, we'd get the same level off as the low of the July dump, which is at 30,000, but since our high was higher, our low should be higher as well. And if you actually look at the low in February versus the low back all the way in July, you'll see that the July low is slightly lower than the February low by a little bit. So according to that graph, we should actually dump to the bottom around 40,000 this time. Looking at 40 to 42,000 as the final dump before we actually go back up on another level. We should increase a couple thousand points per level. Maybe every 6 months, we'll see a new high that's about 5,000 higher than the next level. So, if you follow this pattern, it'll be May. This is May. This is July. So this is November. So like maybe I would say mid-late January we'll start going back up, and maybe by essentially a couple months later, by mid-May we'll hit 85,000 or so. So that's kind of like the new projection with that chart reading analysis. If you actually take this half year cycle and try to superimpose it over the last half year cycle earlier this year. So as for the moving averages, yes, we are very, very bearish on the daily. The oscillators are pretty much neutral, bordering on oversold, but they're still neutral. But like I said, the directional index is becoming stronger and stronger, so that's definitely not a good signal as we're getting more and more bearish. The moving averages, all very, very bearish. We are below every single number, including the 200 SMA. So we're below the 200 EMA and below the 200 SMA. We'd have to get above 50,000 for that level to become bullish once again. Of course, if you take it a little bit more out on the weekly, it's also bearish because we are bearish all the way down to the 50. Both the 10-week, 20-week, and 30-week are bearish because we're basically below pretty much all those numbers. You'd have to get to the 50-week moving average, exponential moving average, before we get to a sell. And 50 weeks is about a year. So obviously if you compare now to a year back, we're still greater than where we were a year back. But at least like for the weekly, it looks like if you're doing like the theory that like each cycle is only about 6 months now and you just superimpose one over the other, it is quite bearish because it has been bearish for a 6-month block now. If you look at the monthly, we have a more favorable picture because the smallest unit of time we have is actually a month, is 10 months, which is over a year. And if you compare it to 10 months ago, we're still on the buy section. Obviously, if you compare it to 20, 30 months ago, we're going to be on the buy section. But 10 months ago, we're actually below the simple moving average, but still above the exponential moving average. But that could actually change if we keep dipping, and we would actually be below the exponential moving average. But monthly, On the long monthly term, a yearly term, or like, if you take a 1 year or 2 year view, definitely still bullish, which means by this time next year we should be higher than where we are right now. But if you take the weekly trends and the daily trends, definitely bearish for right now. So essentially, the oscillators don't really say anything to us. But if you look at the SMA, the EMAs, only the monthly out to like 1, 2, and 3 years is bullish, whereas the weeklies out to half a year is bearish, and dailies is all bearish all the way to 200 days. So right now, not really sure if it's a good time to buy or not. If you want to DCA in, do so with caution. Buy a little bit right now, but maybe wait for that dip to the lower 40,000s to actually buy, because that would be a very, very good opportunity. Once it gets to the lower 40,000s, I would actually buy. I wouldn't wait for 30-something thousand, because the hash rate's at an all-time high, and I think the bottom line would be about 38,000 now before it becomes unprofitable to mine. And there's no guarantee that we'll actually go past 40,000, because if we overlay the graphs, 40 to 42,000 should be about the minimum we'd actually dip to, which would make an excellent buying opportunity. Going down to 40,000 will push prices on the alts down probably another 20% or so. Perhaps even more on some of the other alts. So that would be a discount buying opportunity, technical wise. Now, basically on the fundamental analysis, nothing much has changed. I think we're still trudging through getting the regulations through Congress. All eyes are going to be a little bit on the Ripple case, because that will actually affect the rest of the industry, and we should want actually a decent settlement there. I don't know if we're going to get like a stunning victory over the SEC. That seems somewhat unlikely. But at the same time, I don't really expect that case to end up being a complete loss either. I don't really see a settlement where it doesn't affect the rest of the industry. So if XRP gets clarity, everything else should actually also get clarity as well. I don't think there's any way they're going to give XRP clarity without giving ETH clarity as well. It's going to be all or nothing. It's going to be like everything is a security, or nothing is a security. If they lose the case badly against Ripple, they won't have any teeth to go after any other cryptos. And if they actually settle and it's bad for them, no one is going to be afraid of them, and they will look at that settlement as a precedent for future agreements, which is why I think that lawsuit is taking so long. And I remain cautiously optimistic, but the thing is, I don't think it's going as well as a lot of the people in the crypto world is making it seem. But I don't think it's going that poorly either. The truth is somewhere in the middle. So we'll see what happens, because I do remember the Kin case, and I do remember the EOS case. Like, while they were actually fighting those cases, people made it seem like really optimistic that the SEC was going to just completely lose that case, and they ended up winning both times. Albeit the penalty was actually fairly small for both Kin and EOS. But if they fight this to the end, this will actually take a while, and meanwhile, the crypto world will actually hang in limbo. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.